name is Marc Stoecker, and I'm a Senior Learning and Development Specialist at Involved Media. Today's topic is how to incorporate interactions into a project. Okay, let's get right into it. I've opened up one of my Captivate projects, and we're going to learn how to add interactions to a project. I'll start by adding a new blank slide. So I'll go up to the top menu at the top here and select Insert and New Slide and select from the available slide options. From here, I'll go to the Interactions drop-down menu and I'll notice that there's 4 options: Button, Click Box, Drag and Drop, and Learning Interactions. So we'll briefly go through each. So from here, I'll go ahead and select Button. And as you can see, there's a default button icon on the middle of the screen. And from over here, from this display panel, I'll see a couple options. I can see that I can adjust the style from a text button, which this option is currently, and I can select from 3 options: a text button, transparent button, or a image button. And if I wanted to use one of the image buttons, there's the default set here that's already preloaded. I can also go to the desktop if I want to pick something. So from here, I'm actually going to just pick something from this menu. I'm actually going to pick the play button, and then you can adjust it if you want. And from here, you might notice that there's a couple different menu options, such as options and actions. So I select actions, it tells me what's going to happen when the user clicks on this button here. So what I'm going to do is change this to say play audio. So I select that from the drop-down menu. And then from here, I'm going to click on this folder icon so I can select the specific file, audio file that it's going to play. In this case, I'll select this one. I can always test it out to see if I like the sound of it. And then I can go ahead and select OK. So let's go ahead and play this slide. And voila, we have our interaction. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Delete the play button. And click box is pretty straightforward. When you click within this box here, it creates text that pops up. And in this case, the default is to provide some sort of success text, such as great job, or failure, such as oops, try again, and maybe even a hint text. So that's another option that you can add in terms of interaction. The third option relates to drag and drop. Pretty much what you can do is, suppose you want to have a couple different items on your screen and you want to be able to drag them to hotspots to be able to then add them and create a drag and drop option so that you can have questions and answers match up. You can do that using this system. So I'm just going to use a quick default, create a couple of random objects for this. Okay, so suppose I wanted to match these up and have a certain sequence. From here, I would create the drag and drop or select the drag and drop option, and it opens up the drag and drop wizard. And from here, I would select what type of objects I would like to be able to match to which one. So I've selected these 3 objects, and they'll be matched to these 3 objects over here. Once I've selected the initial objects, I'll pick the hot spot or drop zone. So I would select next, and then select where I want to drag these to. Once I've selected all the objects, I can then hit next. And that allows me to decide which one of these objects matches to the other one. You might notice that there's a little icon here. It's kind of hard to see, but it's an arrow. I would grab a hold of that and point that to the object that it points to. And as you can see, some success text pops up here as well once you've matched it properly. I'm actually going to expand this icon so that it will be more easily to grab the arrow. And voila, once I'm done, I can hit finish. And if I preview the slide, I can then drag these objects over here, and then once I've dragged all of them over to the different hotspots, hit submit. And as you saw a moment ago, I failed, so I'll have to do better next time. Okay, for the final interaction, I'm going to add one more slide for time's sake. And the final interaction is a learning interaction that's from a library of traditional interactions from Adobe. There's actually more advanced ones you can access from the Assets button here, but for these purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and select one. I'm going to select this pyramid, select insert. From here you can enter in a number of different items, text, and do a number of different things. So let me go ahead and just show how the interaction shows up on the screen, and we'll go from there. So I select this, and now, actually let me go ahead and preview it. Now this shows up, and if I select the top item, you can see the text I entered here shows up, and you can go down the list and see different types of elements. So this allows a level of interaction with your learners, and it's not just straight text. And that's all I'm going to show today about how to include interactions. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you for spending time with our team at Involved Media. You can find more information on our company and service offerings at involvedmedia.com or by emailing us at sales@involvedmedia.com.